Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast. I'm your girl, Nia Imani, and I have the pleasure of interviewing my young bull. But she a boss, y'all. She my youngin, but she a boss. Carly. And I'm gonna get into it. Say hi.
Hello. How are you guys?
Don't she look beautiful? I'm gonna steal those glasses. Listen, when I read this bio, y'all gonna be like, just go right into the questions because people know you, but yeah, it's going. Let me just read it. All right. Lillian's Lush Organics was created by my girl Carly Asare, a natural hair enthusiast and scientist. Y'all heard that? She's a scientist. After stop. After attending and graduating from Westchester University with a bachelor's of science in cell molecular biology, because you can't just keep going, you got to pause for that one. Let me read that one more time. Cell molecular biology. Okay. Carly created a company named after her late grandmother Lillian. With Carly having a scientific background, she was able to make a high quality hair growth oil. I had to say it like that because people needed to hear it. High quality hair growth oil made from all natural ingredients. The best seller of Lillian's Lush Organics is their Healthy Hair Grow Serum. This product has received over 10 million, let me get close to the mic, 10 million views and counting on TikTok, and has reached the hands of over 2,000 customers worldwide. Carly's commitment to sustainable, natural, and healthy ingredients has earned her company a strong following among those who prioritize a healthy hair and healthy scalp.
But the numbers might actually have to be updated.
Tell them, tell the people, tell me. What is it now?
I'm not even sure. I know for just this month with me being sick, it was 24,000. And like just this week, I'm sorry. So from last Sunday to this Sunday, it's 24K. I don't know what it is for the month. I haven't looked. And like since I've been sick, I haven't really been like not promoting, but I haven't been posting and all of that.
Right.
But beyond that, it's shocking that again with the not bare minimum, but with me being sick, it's this week alone is 25,000 views, 24,000 or 25,000, something like that.
25. I don't even know if I ever had that number, whether it was monetary, whether it was views, whether
Yeah,
it was.
I just so happened to check yesterday, like because the thing is too, like I have a bunch of different TikTok pages, so I'm never just on my business page like perusing. Like I have a personal page to kind of separate business and like personal. So if I'm on my business, I mean, if I'm on my personal page, I'm not really paying attention to the numbers. And I just so happened yesterday to check back in, and again, I posted a video while I was at work. I posted 2 videos back to back while at work, and like overnight at work kind of thing. So, and when I went back, I was like, oh,
That's wild.
yeah.
So,
I urge people,
uh-huh.
whoever's listening, TikTok is I mean, it's very hard because I think TikTok has made it too easy for people to sell. But it is, if you can establish a brand on there, whether it is a product, a service, whatever the case may be, it's a great market for revenue. And I think the TikTok shop the thing was, I never really established a presence on the TikTok shop. I personally don't like it because I like to have wiggle room. Again, I work another job, as well as I do other things, right? And I don't want to be held to the 24-hour window. And with TikTok, if you got 10,000 orders, you got 24 hours to get those bad boys out. So, I mean, they give you a wiggle room window, but in order to not get in trouble by them, because they'll
Right.
cancel your orders if you don't get them out quick enough. So, in order to not be like handcuffed to that 24 hours, I prefer my own website because at that point I get to establish how long it takes me to get orders out. Um,
Correct.
but TikTok is a great avenue. Again, even if you don't sell in there and you just want to establish a presence. Today I think I have 34,000 followers on TikTok. But yeah, that is kind of, and again, just because I have the 34,000 followers on TikTok, my videos still do really well. So just with the 34,000, right? All of them may not see that video in that day, that hour, that month, but my very first video that ever went viral, which is how I established a presence in the community, was 5 million views, and I don't have 5 million followers. So you get what I'm saying? Like it's a way. Again, I have 34,000 followers, almost 35,000, but I got the brand in front of 5 million people.
That's amazing. Now, can you tell the people, like, just to jump into it, what made you even start this? What, you
So I
know?
big chopped July of 2020 in the height of the pandemic. And that was more due to stress. So my hair was falling out. I was coloring my hair. I've had every color in the book probably in high school. I attempted to color my hair again. And I had pickaboo highlights. And that was just like the sides.
Okay.
And it looked like somebody chewed my hair up. So I tried to cut it. Like, color doesn't do well with my hair. And I keep trying and it still doesn't do well. So I was like, all right, let's try to do a bob. Still did the bob. And then as soon as the pandemic hit with us having to cover our hair, my hair started falling out. And I was like, okay. And remember, all the hair salons were closed.
Yep.
Let's just start there. I remember I got a call. My hairdresser was like, yeah, I can't see you today. Like, what you mean, girl? Like, I was trying to come and see you. Like, you can't just tell me on the day of the L&I is coming to close you. Are you going to, you got to give me something. Like, you can't just say, oh, I can't see you today. So at that point, I remember I had went to Target right before the shutdown happened. And I spent like $300 on hair products. Again, I had never been natural. I had long hair, but I was never natural. So I was like, okay, now we just playing around with brands. And I can go back and I might find, like, go down a rabbit hole to show people. Like, I was really into products, but they were too expensive. I was still in college and I'm like, this is not cost effective. And at the time too, when I big chopped my hair, I have seborrheic dermatitis, which is a plaquing of the scalp. So it was trying to treat that plus trying to figure out natural hair life. And I remember I had tried my wash and go. And if I go back to the wash and go from 2020 up until today, I am disgusted. But I had to figure out my hair.
Mhm.
And I remember I was like, all right, I think I'm going to just cut. And everybody was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I'm like, no, I'm just going to do it. And I remember the hairdresser, she is no longer in Philly. She moved to Florida on me. I literally got her chair. She's like, what you want? I'm like, I don't care. Do whatever, however you see fit, just cut it. So I wind up cutting my hair. And at that point, again, I had seborrheic dermatitis. Now that my hair is shorter, you can see my scalp flaking. And it was disgusting. So I was going to a dermatologist at Penn. She's not accepting new patients, so don't try to steal my girl. But Dr. O and me, it's a Black dermatologist. They're hard to find. And me and her were trying to figure out what's best. And that was cost effective. That was not cost effective either because each wash needed products. And as well, I mean, I had been through dermatologists. I had went to a white guy, bless his heart, love him to death. But I think for the dermatology community, I think it's come a long way. But at the time, he didn't understand Black people can't wash their hair every day. So it was me literally at the height of pandemic in my mom's kitchen, like my childhood kitchen. And it was like, all right, I see people talking about hair growth oils, like see what's going to help me personally. And I remember I went to Walmart. I think I took $50 and I was like, all right, let's get some products. I went to the Indian market. I had always knew about Shea Bay, which is one of like the star ingredients in the product that sets it apart from other ones that's on the market. And I was like, all right, let's see what it do. And how old was I? 22? I think my 22nd birthday, my sister was like, you need to start selling this. And I'm like, to who? Who gonna buy this? But mind you, I was documenting my big chop journey from the beginning all the way up. If you go on my TikTok page, you will literally see videos from the beginning of the big chop all the way up. And I was like, who gonna buy it? She was like, are you crazy? Like, I had given her a bottle in another product's bottle because I didn't have bottles. I didn't have labels. I didn't have business cards. I had nothing. So my birthday is the 1st, September 1st, by Labor Day, which I don't know what day it was on that year. I spent the whole Labor Day and I did all my branding. And what I did was after I made the products, I was like, all right, I'm going to see what it do. I ordered 1-ounce bottles off of Amazon and I was selling them for $10. And the funny part is our colors are black, white, and yellow. I took yellow sandwich bags And I literally put the 1 ounce bottles in that sandwich bag, and I was like taking them and delivering them to people. I posted on Facebook, Instagram, and like the 30 bottles that I had started with were gone. So it's like I just kept flipping. And then we finally wind up launching. I launched in 2 months. I launched Black Friday. And once we launched Black Friday, it was like, okay, again, people were still using the products that I was selling for $10. So it was like, okay, it does well. I started really doing big events, not really big events, but pop-ups and events and things in the Philly area. And then finally, the last week of February, again, just so happened to post a video at 6 a.m. while at work, and the video went viral. So that is kind of like how we established the presence. So from November to February, it literally, what is that? November is the 11th month. So within like 3 months, it wind up doing numbers. And within that little bit of span of time, when I went viral, I made 10 grand that day. And like within 24 hours.
Day.
Mm-hmm. So that day, I made $10,000 that day, and I wasn't prepared. So it was like, again, it was the thought of, okay, people like the products, people want the products, but I had just made enough, right? And then again, it was inventory, it was already set up, but I wasn't fully prepared. I was prepared, but I wasn't fully prepared for
that magnitude
numbers to come in. Yeah.
That is amazing. Now, with all of that, why did you decide to name it after your lovely grandma?
I think for me, so my grandma, if anybody that knows her, was like the hair queen. So my mom says all the time, like, my mom is American, my dad is from Ghana. I don't have my dad's hair at all, like not one bit, right? And for me, my mom is always like, yeah, your hair, like my grandmother's hair skipped over my mom, and like I got the good genes kind of thing. So it was always like, you have the, like, not, and again, all hair is good hair, but my mom is like, we don't have the same textures. For you to be my child, we don't have the same textures. And it was always like a thing, like that, like hair, when I would go to see my grandmother, it was like, oh, your hair looks nice, or like she was actually pissed when I cut it all off. And mind you, I had cut my hair July of 2020. She passed in December of 2020. So it was like, okay, let's see kind of where things go. And it really wasn't like I had played around with the name. And I had come up with kind of like, I think it was 5 names.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, like it was like wordplay almost. And I mean, all of them had Lillian in it.
Okay.
I don't think like off the top of my head, I don't think I would have probably named it anything else. Okay. I think for me, it's a staple because the thing is, nobody else has it. And with the way that the wording is and all of that, it's no way really to duplicate it unless you really just want to copy, right? And for me, it's more of a namesake kind of thing, right? I think since she was like, if you knew who she was, like she had like waist-length hair, and like all of her sisters were the same exact way, so it's like kind of like a family staple hair for our family. But I don't think I would have named it anything else. And I think when it came up, again, I tried like different things, and I'm like, yeah, no, that don't sound good. No, like, and I think once I kind of settled on that name, it was like, yeah, it flows, it does what it does, and the thing is, people remember it.
Yeah.
So that's like the key.
I love that. You know, with the staple of your hair and your grandmom's hair and her sister's hair, you know, and even the success that you have had, who would you say that you are in all of this?
I think for me, I am more of like the backseat driver of it. Like, yes, like I think, yeah, I will say I'm the backseat driver, but I'm always brainstorming like a new idea, a new thought. And I think for those around me as well, I say all the time, I can give you the idea. You just got to execute it.
Yes.
And ideas that I give, $1 million ideas, right? And the way that I see the vision, but I can't give you the vision that I see and have you replicate it, right? And I think for me, I have an idea of how I want things to go, right? But it doesn't go that way. And I think, again, for me, even when I went viral, right, the idea was, and a lot of people I find, especially in today's world, it's always like trying to duplicate, trying to replicate. And I think there is no real way to replicate that. Like, behind what I did, it was work, right? I put the work in, and I like was able to reap the reward. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that it's work. Like you will have to work. Without the work, you ain't reaping no benefits. And I think the other thing with that is I think I had the vision, right? And I am a firm believer like God gives you the vision. You just got to put the work behind it. He ain't going to do the work for you.
Amen.
And I think for me, that is it. Like I am the backseat driver. Like, because again, we always have ideas, right? For instance, this year, I thought I was going to hit the ground running. Health wise, not great, negative 10 out of 10. But it's like, okay, I know at the end of this, it's like, okay, this was, and for last year, matter of fact, I literally was busy. Like there was not a time that I was not busy, whether it was packing an order, at an event, doing an interview, like whatever the case may be. And I think this was the year where it was like, no, you just need to sit down, you need to rest. And I think for me, like looking is like, okay, 2025 is like the time where you're really gonna be able to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But I think it's like I have to be okay with the rest. And it bothers me, but I'm gonna get the rest.
I'm glad you said that. Number one, that rest is important. And number
you will
two,
get burnt out. You will, when I say you will get burnt out, you have to find a common ground between work and rest. Because if not, you will literally run yourself into the ground. And most of us are working by ourselves to begin, right? Because it's your idea. So if you are a solopreneur and you run yourself into the ground, who's coming to help you? Nobody.
Right. And then I'm glad you also said people always see the reward.
They don't see the work, or they try. Like the thing is that I feel like a lot of people around me, they see the reward and they're like, oh, I can do it too. Yes, but are you willing to go sleep with sleepless nights? Are you willing to work overnight and leave overnight your overnight job and go and drive to New York 2 hours away to do an event? Are you willing to get off of work? The day that I went viral, I was at work. I remember on my way to work, I'm like, why the hell is my phone dinging? And I'm like, okay, like I literally was at work sitting watching the analytics of me go viral on Shopify, right?
That's wild.
I got off from work because I knew that the orders needed to go out. I got off from work and I had to immediately go get supplies because I didn't have supplies. So yes, the reward is great, right? And you see all these people reaping their reward of the work that they put in, but you don't understand the work that's behind the reward.
Right.
And it comes down to sacrifice, because there's plenty of times I would love to be doing other things, but this is what comes first, because if it doesn't get done, then who's going to do it?
Correct.
So I think a lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of people want to be business owners. I will say this is the hardest thing I've ever done, because the thing is too, not only is it's not hard work, because it's what I like to do. When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. But the amount of faith that you have to have as a business owner, like unrealistic faith. Unrealistic. It's not, it to other people it's not realistic, but you like, all right, I don't want all these months. Like I know at the light, it's light at the end of the tunnel somewhere. I don't know where the end of the tunnel is, but it's a light somewhere.
That is, you just giving the gems. And my thing is, with all of this knowledge that you have and going viral and all that, it means that it's working, because I've tried it, and Carly will tell you, and she will say it for herself too. Don't use her oil if you got braids in and you want to keep them in, because now you got to wear a hat. Listen, now you got to wear a hat. Now you got to put it in a bun, because it's what you want. But if you trying to have braids in for like a month and a half, girl. How has your background in cell molecular biology? I just thought that went over my head. How has that benefited you in creating this magic of oil?
I think it has benefited me greatly. I think for me, for a long time, I wanted to go to med school, and that was the idea. Once I was like, yeah, and I think once I got to college, matter of fact, I have PTSD from the major, like legit. Like anybody can tell you, in science is hard, right? Like it's hard, and I think I was like, okay, this is hard, right? But it was like a good hard, because obviously I finished, right? Then I was like, okay, med school, let's try PA school. So I was like, okay, go to PA school. That is kind of how I got a jump start into healthcare, because I needed the hours. So literally I was like a tech at my mom's job. So that was how I literally jump started bedside, right? Then I was like, PA school, No. And I was like, all right, maybe some research. Genetics for me is huge. I love genetics, right? Um, and I was like, okay, but mind you, I have been spoiled. I've worked night shift my whole healthcare career, right? So I'm like, now if I give up that, then I gotta go 9 to 5. That ain't gonna work. That's I don't like mornings. That ain't gonna work. So I think for me, it was always the helping people. That's like literally what the center of this is. And it was funny because I was in a view audience last week, I think, and I'm sitting next to a row of Black excellence, and they're like, one of the ladies like, I know you, and I'm like, you do, sis? From where? And I'm like, maybe from TikTok. She's like, yeah, I follow you on TikTok. I'm like, oh,
Carly.
so like her friend is asking me like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, what do I do? Right? And I think for me, it helped greatly because I knew what my issue was, right? Up front, I knew what seborrheic dermatitis was. As soon as the doctor told me what it was, I went to my Googles, even if I didn't know. And I think that's what has helped me greatly too, is I'm okay with researching, right? Like I'm going to figure out a remedy for something. I don't know. Excuse me. And I think that's what jump started. Like I actually went, found out what it was. Okay, from my background, what is yeast? Like it's a form of yeast. So I was able to really dissect it and understand it. I think the other part of that that has helped is actually understanding medication. No, I'm not a pharmacist, but when it comes to the cancer community, right? A drug that most of them, if not all of them, are on is tamoxifen. I understand how tamoxifen works, right? And I understand I can't offer you a product with turmeric in it because turmeric interferes with tamoxifen. So I think with me having a background of healthcare as well as a health background in science, I'm able to really have a conversation with the patients that I see a lot of times that when they come after their chemo treatments, as well as just everyday people, right? Like I can tell you, like most of the time, a lot of them come and they're like, I have alopecia. Okay, well, what kind? I haven't been to the doctors. Well, maybe you want to see a doctor first before you talk to me. Well, have you gotten your labs done? No. Well, maybe you need to go get some things looked at before you come to me. Like, and we can have a conversation. I'm not saying that I don't want to have a conversation with you, but in order for me to have an understanding, we need to see what's going on inside of your body because a lot of hair care problems start internally. People don't realize that. So yeah, it may not be, you may say it's alopecia, but all forms of alopecia are not treated the same. Like if you have a form of alopecia that's due to inflammation, we need to get your inflammation down in your body. Okay, well, what do you do for that? Like you need to stop eating sugar and dairy, like, and it's a whole line of things. And so I think me taking all of the anatomies, me taking all the sciences, the chemistries, I think it has really helped because I have an understanding of how the molecules work. We know oil and water do not mix.
Yes, come on,
There
team.
are no preservatives in the products, so I'm able to tell you exactly what your shelf life is going to be. Hey, don't put your dropper in your scalp because you're taking your wet hair. You're taking a dropper, putting it in your wet hair, and then putting the dropper back in the bottle. You're now leaving room for mold and mildew. So it's a conversation that I'm able to have with them that I think sets me apart as well. Because I went in one TikTok live and this lady was telling the people that cancer causes hair loss. Cancer don't cause hair loss. It's the chemo that causes hair loss, right? Like she literally, and when I said that to her, she blocked me. So like
Carly.
these are the things, and I think that's what I can, and like I'll go through different lives. It was a girl I was at an event with, and again, I'm not judging your products, but on a scientific level, honey, no, no, no. And again, a lot of people don't have understanding. They're like, well, I went to hair school. Okay, you went to hair school, but hair care is science. You just teaching how to do the hair, but without science, you wouldn't even know how to treat hair.
Let me just tell you, with everything you broke down, we can tell not only did you pass, you graduated. Okay. Because you just broke that all the way down, and I'm glad you did because that's so important. Because
they don't realize like it's
the labs and everything.
A lot of hairdressers, I will say in Philly, for instance,
Okay.
it's a great. They're gonna hate me for saying this. It's a great industry, but it's a nice, nasty industry. And a lot of our hairdressers in Philadelphia, a lot of the ones that do celebrity hair and all of that, right? They ain't treating your hair under that wig. I can promise you.
You see how I just looked to the left? Oh,
I can promise you. I'm scared to see what your hair looks like under that wig, but we ain't gonna talk about it. And there, I think too, there's someone in Philadelphia literally did an event with me and literally went and duplicated my product and duplicated my wording.
How does that work?
So it didn't work because you don't still have a website for it.
Carly, this is what I need to know. This is the first thing that popped into my head with all these gems and all this knowledge. You said worldwide. Where are people purchasing your products from? Give me some
So
countries.
I have the UK. I've had Guyana. I've had France. I've had a lot of Canadian buyers. I've had Italy, like just in specific. I have had quite a few. A lot of them are UK because that's closer. Like not really closer, but like this thing. Like people look at it like it's much closer. But I find it's even when I do my analytics on like TikTok, Instagram, like that. A lot of the viewers are from the United States and United Kingdom.
Amazing.
I do get a lot of people that ask, which my dad is from Ghana, so the hope is to go back home next year.
I know that's right.
Eventually be a seller there because I get a lot of them, at least in country. Because then, if you get a seller in country, then the thing is that they're able to do shipping in their country. Shipping from the United States to Africa is too expensive, so I think that's one of the goals on my like list. I've had Jamaica. Um, I've had quite a few.
That is amazing.
But for the most part, I think we've hit almost all 50 states. I haven't done like a pull to see this year kind of where things have went. But for the most part, I think we've almost hit all 50 states. But yeah, for the most part, I think when I last looked, it was like 20 different countries.
That is amazing.
But yeah, I think in the next year or so, I think we probably will hit all 50 states.
Yeah.
It gets a little bit difficult too because a lot of the customers feel as though I have customers from all walks of life. It's not just a black product, right? But a lot of, unless they're properly educated, which I try to take the time, but TikTok be playing in my face, to educate them on how to use it because a lot of white people are asking like, hey, well, how do I use it, right? And the goal is to teach them how to use it. Actually, one of my I think she had bilateral breast cancer. She actually was literally bald. If you go to the website too, you will see it's a before and after tab. You can see all the before and after pictures. But literally, I usually will ask them like, "Hey, what did you do for?" Because again, I don't have that hair type, so I can't really teach you what to do with your hair type. You kind of lead and I follow kind of thing. So most of them are like, hey, yeah, I can use oil. I can't use it in the same way that you use it, but I can use it. So I have white customers, I have Hispanic customers, I have Indian customers. Like there has the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, but what word am I using? Vendor that I use for all of the herbs that come from India. He's like, yeah, I want to get you in my store. And I'm like, buddy, your store's too far. So next time I see you or I come and pick up products and herbs from you, maybe I'll bring some up. But like even the Indian market that I go to, like the guy, literally the owner is like, yeah, I want your stuff in our store. So I think it's a bridge and I find that I bridge the gap because depending on people I have gotten, if I when I go in the Indian markets, depending on which one I go to, which I try to stay with certain ones, I do. It is kind of like a nasty look, right? But at the same time, depending, like he's like, you know, like you actually did the right thing with our products, like, and he even will drop gems, like, yeah, don't go there and get this stuff because it has chemicals in it. We don't want you with chemicals in your products. Or like he went to India last year sometime when I was picking up like bulk products from him, and he's like, hey, like I can go and bring back some stuff. Like, what do you need, kind of thing. So, and he's always like, he's very friendly. He's like a click away. But yeah, I think for the most part, we have hit like almost. It's very much worldwide.
That is amazing. Now, one of the last parts is tell the people not only where they can find you, so your website, your Instagram, your TikTok, but then also you've sort of alluded to this as well. What are people saying? Like everyone that has tried your products, other than it grows because I got to take my hair out already. But What are they saying, and where can they find you?
So it's literally all the same for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's at Lillian's Lush Organics. There is no apostrophe. For the website is www.lillianslushorganics.com. If you go to the tab, there is a bestseller tab. There is a before and after tab. Like I said, there's also a review tab there. And it ranges, right? I have not, and you're not going to be able to please the masses. So far, mostly I think we're like 4.97 out of 5 for ratings.
Amazing.
But most of the people, I will say, it depends on the person, right? I have had people use it for their children. So if their child has cradle cap, or they can't get their baby's hair to grow, so they've used it for that purpose. And actually, one of my childhood friends, her sister uses it on her 8-month-old baby. Her 8-month-old baby has barrettes and baldies in already. So that picture is up there. All of my cancer patient like customers that are coming after chemo, during chemo, whatever, like immunotherapy, most of them, I actually talked to one of the patients, like she texts me occasionally and she's like, yeah, I gotta send you updated photos. And like she herself, I think she came to me from Unite for Her when she was like in a very dark spot. And I kind of followed her like since her talking, like actually Melissa introduced us, and from the day that Melissa's introduced us like up until now, like she's like, you actually like saved me like from being in a dark place, because like again, hair for us is important. So me being able, I feel like that's a huge thing for me, being able to see that bridge between when you first like literally bald head, like shiny head, to now having like a mini fro. Amazing, right? We also have edge control, which the edge control is like on TikTok as well as Instagram and all of those places. The girls fight over it. So if they fight over it, then you know how great it is, right? The other thing is our shampoo bars. A lot of people shy away from bars, right? But the reviews for that is also great because people don't realize that you can get the same benefits from a bar with nutrients in it, and you get better results from that than you would from liquid, and it's also money saver. So I think all in all, most of the customers, and it's a lot of word of mouth, right? So like if you're getting good benefits, right, and results, you telling somebody else about it. And I think in the long run, that is kind of how we have sustained, right? Because if I find that it's a good product, I'm introducing it to the next person. So a lot of my customer base is their families. A lot of them use it as a household staple product now. And all in all, like the reviews are great. And like I said, you can't always please the masses, right? Somebody's going to find something wrong with something. But for the most part, it does really well, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Usually they're looking for it.
Yeah. That is amazing. Carly, so with all this information and after using all of your products, who will we say you are?
Again, I think I am just like a backseat driver to the business. Like I don't think, and I mean, granted, I am the face of it because that was like really how it started, right? Was me just posting my before and after pictures. That's what went viral, as well as me even starting in my parents' kitchen. That is kind of how, like, I literally was posting before and after pictures, and people were buying it. But I think for me, yes, I am the founder, I am the creator, I am the person behind all of the products, right? But I feel like I am more so of the backseat driver kind of thing in it. It's more of like, okay, well, this is where I want it to go, but where is it going to go? Who knows? We are also in Beauty to Go, which is a Winfield black-owned hair store. We are also in Penn Herb, which is a herb store in, I think, is that in Northern Liberties, like South Philadelphia area. We're in that store. So, I mean, the goal is to always expand. Where will I expand next? I don't know. But yeah, the goal is always to expand.
I am so proud of you. And I said earlier, I said she my young bull, but she young bulling all of us. Okay, like, and you are literally your walking brain. You guys, she said she did the big chop. Look at her hair, Carly. Do a little. Look at her hair, Carly. Lillian's Lush Organics. Y'all stop playing. She said she got edge control.
We have edge control shampoo bars. We have two different types of oils. So we have like the basic formula, which is the first product that was formulated in my, like I said, my childhood kitchen. But then there's also on that volume 2, which is like the regular on steroids almost. It has 30 different herbs that help with hair growth, scalp health off the bat. We also have hair tea rinse, but it also can be, I told people that, and I tell people all the time, you can make your own products with the hair tea rinse. You can double boil your oils and make a hair growth oil with the hair tea mix. We also have a hair tea. I'm drawing the blank. It's a treatment that is in the form of a herb powder that can also be used to double boil your products and make an oil with it. So there is, and I think people shy away from it because it says a different name on the website. But if you really think about it, if you get both of those, you are literally getting quality products, right? And Amazon, all of those different places, they sell different things, but we don't know how authentic it is because we don't know where the hell it's coming from. At least you know what the products they're coming from. A quality herb vendor, as well as a quality Indian herb vendor, a quality shea vendor. So like all of the ingredients are quality when you're buying it, and it takes out the fact of, oh, is this real or anything of that nature.
Y'all heard her. Carly, Lillian's Lush Organics website, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Don't wait. Don't wait till 2025. Why? Just do it now.
Yeah. Black Friday, we will be having a sale. So if you sign up for the email list, you'll get the notifications for that. But yeah, for the time being, why waiting?
And I'm gonna just say it one more time because I don't think y'all heard me. You want your braids in for 17 months. What I'm basically saying is, if you really want your hair to grow, you really want it to be healthy, all those boxes. Thanks, Carly. Thanks, Carly. Lillian's Lush Organics, my young ball, the boss, Carly. Go on all platforms, buy everything, the edge control, oil, the bar, everything. Lillian's Lush Organics. Carly, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
And you're welcome.
Thank you, babe. And this has been the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast. And I'll end with this: Lillian's Lush Organics. Bye, y'all.
Have a good one.
On behalf of everyone here at the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast, we thank you, the listeners. You could be doing anything else with your time, but you decided to spend time with us. And for that, we thank you. We feel so special. To our guests, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to impart wisdom, information, and knowledge. What a blessing that is. To all of the listeners, please make sure to follow us on social media at the Humanitarian Heartbeat podcast. Of course, you can listen to us on your favorite platforms. Find us on YouTube, and make sure that no matter what you do in this life, you follow your heart. God bless.